Greetings, this is Father Michael with our Word of the Week. Our Word this week begins with a kind of trilogy. We're going to have a three-pack. You know how tennis balls or golf balls, they come in packs of three? So too, we're going to begin this year with a three-pack of ordinary time. Ordinary time is not simply a kind of boring sense of routine. We get back into the green and live in life, but rather it is a time to express the fullness of God's life in our souls. The hint we have for that is the first Sunday of ordinary time is always, when able to be celebrated, the baptism of the Lord. Christ, by his baptism, not only himself shows himself to be the Son of God, that wonderful moment when the heavens part, the dove comes out, and the voice of the Father speaks, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." It's the moment in which we are called to join with Christ in our own baptism and to be empowered by that same Spirit. What does that look like? Well, at the end of the baptism of the Lord, the Father says something very powerful, something we ought to attune our ears to. He says, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." Listen to him. In our first reading for the second Sunday of Ordinary Time, we hear the story of Samuel. Samuel, that young man dedicated to the temple by his mother Hannah, and in the dead of night, in the silence of night, he hears the Lord speaking, but he hasn't really heard the voice of the Lord before. His ears are not attuned to hear how God speaks to his heart, to his ears and mind. And so he thinks it's his master Eli, and he wakes up Eli several times. Eli, like parents who just had a young child and keeps rousing in the middle of the night, and Eli's like, "Just go back to bed." And finally, Eli realizes it's the voice of the Lord speaking. So he tells Samuel, "This is what you do. The next time you hear a voice calling your name, simply say this: 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" Brothers and sisters, as we begin this ordinary time, and it's not called boredinary time, it's not bored time, it's a time in which we are called to embrace the baptism graces we have. We are first called to listen to the voice of God in our hearts. When have you heard God calling you? When has God called your name? How does he speak to you? What does it sound like? If we are not used to praying, to carving out silence, this might be a good time to enter into that practice. For those of us who have a pattern and routine of prayer, a good time to refocus ourselves in that habit of listening to the Lord. The first step to living our baptism is knowing that God calls us by name. There's always a call. And so let us ask the Lord this week, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." And then expect to hear him in the depths of our mind and heart. Amen. Amen. If you're enjoying these videos, do like, comment, subscribe. Also go to our website. May the Lord indeed radiate in your life, and may we radiate the joy of the gospel here in the heart of the city.